and then from 2016, I was literally in remission, and I was like, we did it, yeah. And the thing is with remission, it's like, it's not saying that you no longer have Crohn's disease or the condition or whatever. It's more so you're in a state where the condition isn't active, but if the circumstances permit, it can flare up again, potentially. But yeah, 2016, your girl made it to remission. Anyway, happy days. I was very happy about that. And yeah, I started to research a bit more about trigger foods from that point, and I was like, okay, like a list of things not to eat and things to avoid, and I was kind of like, okay, like I think I can genuinely manage this, I can do this. Anyway, I dropped out of university. It was just crazy. It was a hard thing for me to do because I've grown up, some of you know, some of you who know me personally know I have an older sister. There's always like at home, oh, well, your sister got these grades, so you have to get these grades, or your sister did this, so you need to do this, or you need to be successful like your sister. And it was always just like, no pressure, right? All the pressure. So yeah, no, it was hard for me, but I just got to a point where I realized life is too short. I was very unhappy. The degree wasn't what I wanted to do. I only did it because I was told I can't take a gap year to figure out what I want to do. And like, it was making me sick, and that's not how I'm trying to live my life. I'm not trying to do year 2 and year 3 and getting my symptoms worse and worse and worse because I'm so stressed to the point where it's making me ill. And I was like, I just need to take some time out. I need to take a step back. So that is why I dropped out of university. So yeah, from then I was working, and I was working out, I was also training. Shouts out to Idley and Jackie, if you see this, you guys changed my life, you don't even understand. But yeah, so I was like in the gym 6 days a week, working, doing rehearsals, and then also dance training. So it's literally like my day would look like, wake up maybe around 5:36, hit the gym, go straight from gym to training, go from training to work, from work to rehearsals. That was my life, 6 days a week. Honestly, it was crazy, it was intense, but I was really genuinely happy, and I was the fittest and healthiest and happiest I'd been up to that point in my life, and I just felt amazing. I felt really, really good. I don't really have any Crohn's symptoms, so life was good. Your girl was winning. Summer 16, that was the wave. And then an injury I had actually got while I was at university preparing for the competitions. 2 weeks before the competitions, that's for 2 weeks before the competitions, meaning that I couldn't do it. It still hurts me to that day. I still went to go watch. They did amazing. I'm proud, but I'm also like, it still hurts. But anyway, so the injury I had got literally started to flare up, and it got worse. So I ripped the muscle fibers in my calf. I couldn't do the training anymore. I couldn't be in the gym as much as to be fair, I'm not gonna lie. I kept pushing through it, but pushing through it was making it worse. So that was not the one at all. And I think that's when the decline of my symptoms started, really. So yeah, I just kept trying to push through it, and it started to get worse to the point where I had to just ease up. Like, I had to stop training, I had to stop rehearsals, and I had to stop going to the gym so frequently, and I just needed to settle myself and just take a break, recuperate, calm down, you know, and heal. And to be fair, it makes sense. I was doing the most. I was pushing my body to its limits and not really taking much time in between activities to stretch, to wind down, to make sure my body's actually okay. And I had never fully rehabilitated the injury I had sustained in the first place, because I was told that it'll probably heal by itself. It didn't. So it was what it was. But I mean, so yeah, and then from then my immunity started to decrease, and I wasn't really having much of a flare-up. I started to get a few flare-ups again, and I was like, okay, what happens now? What do I do? And then, so this was around the time when Dr. Sebi died. So I'd never heard of herbs for healing up to that point in my life. So when he died, obviously everything was coming out about like his methods and herbs for healing and things like that. And I was like, there's herbs you can take? Like what is this? So I started researching into it. You see a lot. I'm not gonna go into that, but you will find a lot when you research these things. So I was like, can I trust it? I don't know a herbalist. Anyway, so that happened and I was kind of like, okay, well, I'm keen to try at the end of the day. So I was on the lookout for a herbalist and I didn't know anybody and I didn't know how to find one. I'd seen a lot of interesting articles about the different types of herbalists there are and I was kind of like, not trying to get into some of those things. But yeah, I kind of came across a herbalist and we actually happened to have a mutual friend. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna see how this one goes, and the fact that we have this mutual friend, I'm gonna trust it a bit, but I'm also gonna be wary, I'm gonna be cautious. I'm not gonna do anything that I don't agree with. I'm not gonna take anything that I don't research myself or kind of understand. I'm just gonna have the consultation, see what she says, and take it from there. So the goal was actually to make a few minor dietary changes, but the main thing was to modulate my immunity, because after taking medication my immune system was so suppressed. That was our goal, to basically bring it back into balance, that I was like happier and healthier. And we did that, and if I'm honest with you, for a while I didn't see any changes and I was kind of just like, is it working? Please work. And yeah, after about, when I had met her, you know who you are, basically she had said it's a process, you know, it works with your body. It's not a quick fix, it's not a mask. Like a lot of medication is symptomatic, so it just treats the symptoms, it doesn't treat the root cause. However, when you're treating the root cause, it's a lot of a slower process, because you didn't get to where you were overnight, so you're not going to get back to your optimal state of health overnight either, so it's going to take a while. And different herbs work for different people. Sometimes one thing works for one person, one thing doesn't work for another. So yeah, we did that. 3 months later I started to see a drastic improvement in my immunity, and I was just like, yes, we're getting there. We're getting there. So that was a major positive. I started to get back a bit of like a sense of my normal life again, because yeah, it just it had not really been amazing, because like I tried to not go out too much during winter because I didn't want to get sick, and I tried to not get too cold because I didn't want to get sick, and blah blah blah. And then I also just had like low energy because my immune system was dampened, so I started to get a bit more energy and a bit more vibrancy back to my life. So I was like, okay, this is good. So we're doing that, and that was positive. So while we were working on my immune system, over time I started to get a bit more symptoms from the Crohn's. And this wasn't a result of taking herbs, it was more so that we were focused on one aspect and I hadn't been doing anything else to focus on the other aspects. So it's kind of like you're fixing one thing here, but something else is still kind of like, I need help too. So yeah, I started to have more issues with that. So I started to research a lot more into health and wellness and diet, and I'd seen different types of diets, and I heard about this whole take celery juice thing, and I was kind of like, okay, well, why not? It's just celery, like, you know. So I did the medical medium diet and I tried the celery juice, and honestly, I did see a major difference like within about 3 days. And I was like, wow, okay, this stuff actually works. So everything was going good. And then it started to decline again. I was like, roller coaster all over the place, which was annoying because I was just kind of, I just didn't understand why, you know? So yeah, that happened. And then I think from there, I kind of went on to see an Ayurvedic practitioner. And okay. So Ayurveda is based on the principle that there are 3 main doshas, and doshas are kind of 3 constituents that kind of make up who you are and kind of how your body is. So there are certain foods that may work well for you, or there are certain foods that may kind of aggravate your makeup basically, and that may result in having certain conditions like excessive heat in the body, which may manifest itself in terms of inflammation or rashes or whatever. So she kind of gave me a list of foods that I should stick to, a list of foods that I should avoid, a couple of herbs that I should take, and yeah, that was that. And I did see a difference from doing that. I did notice that the inflammation was going down a little bit. I don't know, I just felt a bit more in tune with myself, and I do really think there was value in it. However, after a while my symptoms started to decline again and at this point I was starting to get really bad joint pain, to the point where I couldn't like bend down, and I couldn't like cross my legs for a certain amount of time. And I started going back to the gym again, like after my injury. So I'd had physio for my injury, I started to go back to the gym again, and my muscles just weren't recovering, and like I would literally be limping for a week after going to the gym, and I was like, okay, something's wrong. And it was just all a mess, and it just felt like every time I got close to one thing I would kind of see a difference, and then it'd go downhill again, and it was a lot to deal with mentally and emotionally, because it's like when you're like going through so much, especially something that is quite painful or draining or all of the above, and you think that you found something and then it works and then it doesn't. It's just a lot of highs and lows. So I got to the point where I was like, I'm just gonna have to manage my expectations, and I'm not gonna go in thinking this is, well, I would go in with the hope that it would work, but not necessarily expecting it to, and kind of just in a place where I was like, okay, if it doesn't, I tried, we'll try something else, you know? So yeah, I did Ayurveda. Then after that, I tried traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. Acupuncture was a very strange experience. I liked it, I'm gonna be honest. It was weird. I could feel energy moving in my body. I was like, oh my days. And then you just have to like lie there, and I was like, what is happening? I'm in this dark room by myself, and I can feel these strange sensations in my body, and I don't know what this is, and am I okay? I don't know. That was a lot. But he was mainly focused on the energy side of things, and that was that. And I was kind of like, okay, so that did make a difference, but again, it wasn't encompassing everything. And I got to a point where at the beginning of this year, so beginning of 2020, I started to get really ill. I was in a lot of pain all the time. I had no energy. My muscles were hurting, my joints were hurting. I couldn't even go for like a long walk without being in pain the next day. I started to get so ill, I couldn't even walk to the end of my road, and I live like 3 houses from the end of my road. So this beginning of this year, crazy, so crazy. I had to take 2 months off work, like completely off work, because I was so unwell. I had to go into the hospital, and they had to do like internal examinations to find out like what was going on. And I had blood tests, and they said that there's not really showing any inflammatory markers. And I was like, but that doesn't make sense, because I'm in a lot of pain, so there's inflammation somewhere. And they're like, we don't know. So I had to go in for like an internal examination, which was under anesthetic. And they were just like, okay, we're really confused, like, because you're not really showing that many symptoms, but you're obviously in a lot of pain, so we just think you should take medication, and we think it's probably just Crohn's disease. And I was like, that's a lot of words. Like, we think this, but we're not sure about this, therefore take this. I'm sorry, but that did not sit okay with me. I kind of came across, your tea, grab your water, grab all the things, grab your snacks, grab your dinner, I don't know, grab what you want to grab. Let's make this happen, it's gonna get real. I'm gonna have to film this again. Okay, here we go. That went sensational. Take 2. Alrighty. Flight. No? Okay. I don't know why I did that. I just ruined the whole thing.